Hey bosses, welcome back to the Traction First Session Room. So last time I taught you some tools and some phrases and some coaching questions to use to help your people see it, help them see the vision, help them have that longer time span capacity. So this time we're going to kind of dig into the toolbox again, and we're going to talk about the Say It tools. So the Say It tools. In the book, I help the employees use the right words really to make you happy, but also to really start getting us on the same page. So bosses and employees historically have been not on the same page. Bosses are working for one thing, employees are working for the other thing. It's just beautiful when we come together and we're all working in the same direction. So getting on the same page is all about the words that we use. It's also about the relationship. So if you think that I'm going to kind of get into some fluffy, fuzzy stuff, I'm not really fluffy and fuzzy bunny stuff, but it does count that you have a relationship with your people. And some of the tools in Earn It can help you do that. So I do have to share a sad story that turned out good. So this is a story about a father and a son who are working in the same company. And the father had built this company up, and he had great people, and he loved running this company. And the son had grown up in the company and had job after job after job. And finally, it's time. The son is on the leadership team, and we get in our first session together. And I'm teaching them this concept of open and honest. We got to be on the same page. And we get to a tool where we decide who sits in what seats. And one of the tools we use, again, in the EOS process is GWC. Do you get it? Do you want it? And do you have capacity for it? Well, we went around the room and I asked the son, do you want this job? And following my coaching, thank goodness, he said, Dad, I don't want this job. And it was a heartfelt moment, and the room was silent, and he hadn't said that for his entire life. This was the first time Dad had heard that. So we worked through and we processed that issue, but eventually what we did is we found him a seat in the company that he did want. And so they got on the same page and they started to move in the same direction. So fun little story about how getting on the same page can really move you forward. So how do we get on the same page with our employees? Well, it starts with the employees throwing a fit. So I know your employees throw fits, am I right? Yep, I knew they did. Because all employees throw fits. So here's the thing, all employees throw fits. They're either gonna throw fits silently to someone else or to you. What we would love them to do is throw fits to you. So sometimes, and I know you feel yucky when your employees run into you and they go, boss, blah, 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 and they start throwing a fit to you and complaining and crying and stressed out. And I know you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to happen anymore. But when the next time an employee runs into your office and they're throwing a fit, I want you to just be happy about that. Because here's the thing, they trust you enough to come to you. They're honoring the relationship enough to come whine and throw a fit to you. So if they're just keeping it in, they're not staying on the same page. If they're throwing a fit to somebody else, maybe their coworker or their wife or their friends, that's hurting the company too. So congratulate yourself and celebrate that when your employees throw a fit. Now, I can't just leave you hanging. I have to tell you, I have to teach you and coach you on how to deal with those fits. So here's a few things that might really work for you. And when I say might work for you, slight tangent, all of this fun stuff I'm teaching you, I don't want you to trust me. I don't want you to trust me at all. What I want you to do is test it. So I say this to my 10-year-old all the time. I coach him around something and he refuses to try it because he says that won't work and that won't work. So if you're kind of thinking that to yourself, I just encourage you, all of these tools I'm sharing with you, try it, test it out for yourself, see if it works. Okay, so ready, back to the topic at hand. There's my ADD again. The topic at hand, your employee has just thrown a fit. They've run into your office and they're throwing a fit. This is your first thing. Get them to slow down. Get them to relax. They're super stressed out right now, and whatever you are telling them or asking them is not really going to work until they relax. So here's a couple of ideas of how you can get them to relax. Ask them to sit down. That's an easy one. We've all tried that before. Why don't you sit down? And just the feeling of our bodies relaxing into a chair might help. Ask them to take a walk. Get out of the office. So you know what? Let's go outside, even if it's in the parking lot. There's something about fresh air, something about moving our bodies that really helps. So getting them to relax and slow down. You can even ask them to take a deep breath if that feels right to you. Another way to get them to slow down is to say, hey, grab a piece of paper. And you do it too. Grab a piece of paper, and what I'd like you to do, now I'm the boss talking to the employee, what I'd like you to do is just start writing down everything that's frustrating you. So just the part of slowing their verbal vomit, right, down and getting them to sit down and put pen to paper helps them to slow down. Now, once you feel like you've been able to get them to slow down, ask them this question: what's on your mind? Now they might have said, boss, I just told you what's on my mind. But now you're gonna ask them the question again when they're nice and slowed down. So ask them what's on their mind and then be quiet. And sometimes I say, shut up. Listen to them, let them talk. Take notes if you need to, but you need to hear everything that's on their mind. Really try to sit on your hands or put your hand over your mouth, and don't try to solve their problem for them right then. If they're in that place where they feel they need to throw the fit, they probably just need to vent a little bit. So just listen instead of trying to fix their problems. Okay, so we've got get them to slow down. We've also got ask them what's on their mind, and here's a way to find out what's really on their mind. So they're talking, and there might be a pause. And so ask this question: what else? Sometimes that first thing that comes out of their mouth isn't really the thing that's really on their mind. So ask them that question, what else? So now we've got slow down, ask them what's on their mind, ask them what else, and then the last thing, I kind of already talked about it, but it's silence. The power of silence is really awesome. So I want to do a little exercise right here, and I don't want you to think that anything has stopped or your video has paused. We are going to be silent here together for 10 seconds. That's going to feel like an eternity, especially to me, especially to Rob, who's doing the video. Okay, here we go. Ready, set, silence. Was 10 seconds. 10 seconds feels pretty uncomfortable, but science has shown that it takes at least 6 seconds for our thoughts to start really engaging. People might start talking before they actually start thinking. So go ahead and use the power of silence. Somebody once told me, let the silence do the heavy lifting. All right, so the other things you can do is ask your employees to use the Say It tools in the Earn It toolbox. Now you can download the workbook. You can grab the first chapter for free if you'd like to on my website. But the employees have a workbook that they get to work through and also a scorecard so that they can keep track of their progress. So I encourage you to ask them to do those tools too. Pretty soon, our conversations are gonna be awesome. We're gonna be coaching our employees. We're all saying the right words. So that's it for now. I'll see you back next time here in the Traction First Session Room. Have a great day, bosses.